For the past 3 days, there has been a very interesting news coming out of the other side of the pound in United Kingdom, the England. Apparently, few of the BBC national television, which is sponsored by the government in England, and every person that carries a television in their home, they have to pay almost £400, which is equivalent to 570, $570 or something like that in dollar each year to watch BBC. So the BBC is uh, dependent on the government and also dependent on the individual of the British citizen. Uh, it is a rule that when a television set or television station is governed by government, subsidized, and then also heavily dependent on the people, not on the advertisement or other source of the income, they should be reasonably more truthful, straightforward, without any fake news, without any partisanship, without any bias. That's the rule. The Voice of America in one part was like that, and we saw the scandal in the Voice of America, particularly in the Farsi component, that resulted in some displacement and some cutting off the budget by the government. Apparently, 2 or 3 days ago, a couple of the BBC reporters, with the support of the executive, it appears, decided to take one of President Trump videos, or two of the President Trump videos, with regard to the January 6th, when there was this issue in the Parliament and in the Congress and the street, and they kind of montaged that, put them together, edited, cut and piece and paste, and two area they put together that appears that President Trump instigating violence, that go and fight and do this and that. And a couple of smart people picked that up and reported. The President Trump and the White House immediately react to it, rightfully. And the British Broadcasting Company and probably those responsible were called in, and as a result of this scandal and this manipulation of the news to make it fake and unworthy and defaming, two of the executives of the BBC resigned, including the CEO, and there are going to be more fallout, I'm sure. And even I was watching the one of the British broadcasting system, and a couple of commentators, they were all talking about why the BBC should exist. So now they are going after BBC. Well, one of the things that I want to talk about is the honesty and truthfulness of reporting system. Journalists are bound, are obligated by professionalism to report truthful events without any comment. There are some commentators, there are some experts, there are some people that involve in analysis. However, a reporter, the job of the reporter is to report truthfully, report honestly, and based on the factual information. Any deviation from this is unprofessional, is dishonest and corrupt. And we have had number of the station, number of the people in stations across the pond, even in the United States. Remember, President Trump was referring to the fake news, and we all saw the bias reporting of many. We saw a few specific program that make a false accusation, but they cannot substantiate. And all of these has been going on and probably will go on. This corruption will continue across the globe. We have seen it in different countries. However, different countries, like for example, Islamic Republic of Iran or Africa or Sudan or Russia or China, that's not acceptable, but has been normalized, by nature of the government. But in a democracy, in a area and in a country with freedom of speech, doing this corruptive action, this honest action, is questionable. That why do you want to get involved? Is it the fame? Well, you're already on TV or in radio. Is it the money? Well, you are making millions every year. So what is that? Is it that wild human nature that liked corruption and liked dishonesty, instigating violence and defaming other people for no good reason? Well, BBC should learn their lesson. Of one point that I want to discuss here and bring it up is the BBC, not only the English part, the Farsi part is also corrupt. Iranian diaspora, Iranian who oppose the government, know that the BBC, the Farsi BBC, particularly with 2 female and 1 male, and number of the others, seems to be, instead of being a journalist, an honest journalist, and journalist with the professionalism that has sworn to honesty and telling the truth, has become a lobbyist. Whether they are paid, they are corrupt, I can't prove it. But from the Iranian point of view, diaspora that I have heard and they report and they discuss, that the BBC is very much become a propaganda for Islamic Republic, and broadcasting false news and defaming many honest people who are against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So the BBC now has a bigger role and bigger action to fulfill. Not only go after the British-speaking and English-speaking BBC to stop this false and unprofessional behavior, but also go after the BBC Farsi and for once and all put end to this corruptive, dishonest, and unprofessionalism by those people who uses the platform making money but propagating the false news and instigating violence and turmoil in any system, whether it's a British system or international system or any. And for once and all, put end to it and admit them to the Hall of Shame. That's where they belong.